There is a truth no one ever tells you. If you are the kind of person who always tries harder in relationships, who cares more, overthinks more, and constantly asks yourself what you did wrong, yet still ends up not being the one chosen, then chances are the problem is not you. Most men have been taught the wrong rules about attraction. They believe that if they are good enough, kind enough, and try hard enough, women will feel it and respond in return. But reality is completely different. Those very efforts are what cause so many men to fail in silence, while other men do not need to try nearly as hard, do not go out of their way to chase validation, and yet naturally attract women. Not because they are better than you, and not because they are luckier, but because they understand something most men have never been told. Women do not respond to effort. They respond to how a man shows up, to the steadiness and calm that come from within. If you do not understand this, you will keep going in the wrong direction. You will keep putting effort into places that create no attraction, and you will keep feeling like you are always the one who comes second. The most important secret is at the end of this video, so make sure you watch until the end, because it may completely change how you look at the way you have approached women for a long time. And if you want to understand attraction psychology more deeply, if you want to become a calm, grounded man who no longer chases anyone's approval, subscribe to the channel right now. The content here is not for the masses. It is for men who truly want to change at the root. If you see yourself in what was just said, you are not alone. Many men enter relationships with the same mindset. If I try a little harder, care a little more, behave a little better, things will be different. You think before you speak. You hesitate before you text. You worry about whether you might upset her, whether you are interesting enough. And the more you care, the more afraid you become of losing her. What exhausts you the most is not rejection, but the feeling that you did everything right and still nothing changed. You start to doubt yourself, wondering if you are missing something, if you are less attractive than other men. At times, it feels like you are trying to hold on to something that was never truly yours to begin with. The truth is that most men are never taught how to handle their own emotions when they are around women. You are taught to be strong, to be confident, to prove your value, but no one teaches you how to stay grounded when you do not get the response you hoped for. So the more you try to control the outcome, the more tense you become, and that tension quietly erodes your attraction without you even realizing it. If you have ever felt like you are giving too much and receiving too little, if you have ever felt yourself slowly losing your natural ease just to stay in someone's good graces, remember this: that feeling is not because you are weak, it is because you are trying in a way that does not align with how attraction actually works. What matters here is not what you did wrong, but the fact that the way you are trying may be working against the true nature of attraction. Most advice out there focuses only on actions: what to say, what to do, how to behave in order to be liked. But the truth is, women do not strongly respond to a checklist of actions. They respond to the internal state of the man standing in front of them. When you enter an interaction with the mindset that you need a certain outcome, that you need approval, that you need a response, your body and emotions naturally tense up. You may never say it out loud, but the urgency and neediness are still there. And that is exactly what slowly strips away your natural ease, the very thing that once made you attractive in the first place. Attraction is not created by trying to do everything right. It appears when a man is comfortable with himself, when he does not need to prove anything, and does not need permission to be who he is. This is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It is about shifting from seeking feedback to being grounded in your own emotional state. When you stop focusing on "does she like me" and start focusing on "how do I feel in this moment," your entire energy changes. And that is when attraction begins to form naturally, without force. There is a very simple psychological principle that has been misunderstood for a long time. Women do not respond to the confidence you display. They respond to the emotional stability you carry. Confidence can be learned, and it can even be faked for a short period of time. Stability cannot. It reveals itself through how you react, how you stay silent, and how you do not get pulled into other people's emotions. A stable man is not shaken by a look. a delayed text message, or a vague response. He does not need to guess intentions, analyze every small signal, or control the situation in order to feel safe. His sense of security comes from within, not from how others think or react. When a man has this kind of stability, women feel it very quickly, even before they can put a name to it. They feel more relaxed, less guarded, and more at ease around him. Not because he is perfect, but because he does not need to be perfect in order to feel enough. On the other hand, when a man ties his value to other people's reactions, he unknowingly hands them control over his emotional state. Each time he gets attention, he feels valuable. Each time he is ignored or met with distance, he feels inadequate. This creates a quiet loop of tension, and that tension is the biggest attraction killer of all. Lasting attraction does not come from doing more, saying things better, or trying to be smarter. It comes from not needing to do anything extra to feel grounded in yourself. When you stand there without needing, without resisting, without forcing, the energy you give off becomes clear, calm, and very hard to ignore. Imagine two men in the same situation, both talking to a woman they find attractive. The first man enters the conversation with a clear goal. He wants to be liked. He watches every small reaction, adjusts his words based on her expressions, tries to tell more interesting stories, asks more questions, and constantly recalibrates so he does not lose points. On the surface, he looks attentive. But underneath, there is a quiet tension, always waiting for a sign of validation. The second man is also polite and attentive, but the difference is that he is not attached to the outcome. He listens, responds naturally, speaks when it feels right, and stays silent when silence fits. He does not rush to fill every gap, and he does not try to stretch the conversation if it naturally comes to an end. His entire presence carries a sense of calm, as if everything is okay, no matter where this interaction goes. What is interesting is that the woman may not consciously recognize the difference right away, but her body and emotions do. With the first man, she feels like she is being chased. With the second man, she feels like she is around someone who does not need to prove anything. And that feeling creates safety, curiosity, and a greater sense of openness. The difference is not in words or techniques, but in the man's inner state. One carries neediness, the other carries groundedness. And in most cases, groundedness always leaves a deeper impression. If you want to apply what was just discussed, do not start by changing what you say or how you behave on the surface. Start with your inner pace. When you enter a conversation, slow down slightly. You do not need to respond immediately. You do not need to fill every silence. Silence is not the enemy. Urgency is what reveals neediness. Next, observe your own emotions instead of reacting to someone else's. If she replies slowly, if her response is vague, allow the discomfort to pass without acting on it right away. Your ability to stay with your emotions without trying to control the situation is a sign of stability. And over time, that stability becomes clearly felt. Finally, focus on giving yourself a sense of enough before looking for it from someone else. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means not tying your self-worth to the outcome of an interaction. When you speak because you want to speak, stay because you want to stay, and leave when it feels right, you begin to act from a place of choice rather than need. Sustainable attraction is created when you no longer need to try to be attractive. When you are in that state, what you say and do becomes natural, consistent, and very hard to ignore. The most important thing to remember after this video is not a technique or a specific line, but a simple truth. Attraction does not come from trying to be chosen. It comes from not losing yourself in front of someone else. When you are calm with yourself, when you do not need to prove, cling, or control the outcome, you begin to radiate a state that others can clearly feel, even if they cannot put it into words. Many men spend their time learning how to attract women, but never learn how to sit with their own emotions. That gap is what keeps them feeling empty, constantly needing feedback, constantly looking for external validation. When you fill that space from within, attraction becomes a natural byproduct rather than a goal you have to chase. In the next video, we will go deeper into how to build inner stability even if you have been rejected, failed, or lost faith in yourself. This is the part very few people talk about. Yet it determines whether you can maintain attraction over the long term. If this video gave you a new perspective, hit like to support the channel, share it with other men who may need to hear this, and subscribe so you do not miss future content. Thank you for staying until the end of the video, and I will see you in the next part of this journey.